Hi everyone, welcome to Crochet Tutorials. In this video we're going to have a look at how to join pieces of crochet using the mattress stitch. It is the most invisible crochet join you will ever use, and it's particularly handy when you're joining garments. For example, when you're joining a sleeve to the body of a garment that you're making, or if you're joining squares or other crochet shapes that you absolutely do not want a visible join row in. So this mattress stitch is the way to go. It is way easier than you think, and it is invisible. One of the wonderful things about mattress stitch is that you don't use your crochet hook, and you simply use a yarn needle and your yarn. Now you can leave the yarn attached to your ball of yarn, or you can choose to cut off a length. I find it easiest to leave it attached to the ball of yarn, simply because I can cut that at a later time if I wish, and otherwise if I don't. If I want to continue for longer and bring in more squares, then I can do that as well. So the most important thing is to remember that with mattress stitch you are only going to crochet into the back loop of your stitches. So initially we start by identifying which stitch we're going to work into first, and realistically it doesn't matter, you need to be somewhere near the corner. So I'm going to work into this stitch first, and you can see, I'm just going to zoom in here, you can see of course that you've got your, when you sit that down, you've got a top loop and a bottom loop of that stitch. So we're always going to work into the bottom loop, and we're always going to come in from the top, not from underneath the stitch, but from the top of the stitch, and just pull that yarn through. And you can see that I'm using this very contrasting colour, and that's just to demonstrate the extraordinary invisibility of this mattress stitch. So pull a fair bit of yarn through, because we're going all the way up the square here, and then find the corresponding stitch on the other square and go in again, only into the back loop, but from the top. So not from underneath, from the top. And just pull that through. And what you have is this little start of a crossover. And then we're just going to pop back to the other side, to the very next stitch in the top of the back loop only, and pull the yarn through. And we're going to do that all the way up this square into every stitch. Now when you're talking about granny clusters, you are going to have a chain space between your granny clusters like this one, and you are going to stitch into that as well, just for reference. But of course if you're looking at joining a garment, then you you do have chain spaces in that garment as well, again you need to be able to work into that chain space, and every stitch, irrespective of what it is, needs to be worked into with this mattress stitch. So just keep working up the square, and you can see that this looks a little bit loose, and you might be thinking, Kim, that doesn't look particularly invisible, but I can assure you it will be when we're finished. So it's like lacing your shoes or lacing a corset. You're going from one side to the other and just making this little crisscross pattern here. And we're going to go all the way up the square. Always working into that back loop only, and always coming in with the yarn from the top. If you come in from the bottom, it will muck up your mattress stitch, and you don't want that. So we're always coming in from the top, just into the back loop of the stitch. And this is what it will look like as you go. just see if I can zoom in onto that. That's what it will look like. It will be this kind of almost hickledy-pickledy looking crisscross pattern that's quite wide. Don't worry, it will close up. I won't bore you with making you watch the entire square. I'll come back when I'm about here and we're about to finish. Okay, so by now you should have your, well, I don't know if you're joining along actually, but I have most of my stitches complete and just have the few remaining stitches to go. Now, of course, I have, as I said earlier, I have put the mattress stitch into each stitch across, including those chain spaces, and always from the top and into the back loop only. So here's a chain space here now. I'm just going into that one and then into the corresponding chain space on the other square. So as you can see, this looks like it's not invisible, and that's what I love about the mattress stitch. It kind of comes together in this really magical way. So just about done, just about done. And you know, when you are using this to join garments, it is, of course, you know, you don't really want any other join except an invisible join, unless, of course, the pattern dictates something else. But, you know, certainly when you're joining sleeves onto cardigans, yes, you really don't want that join to be visible. So there we are. Now I'm just going to zoom out so you can see this entire square. A little bit more. There we go. And I can take my needle out now. And what you have here is this real corset looking crisscross pattern. To get this to become invisible, all you need to do is grasp both of your ends. So I have both ends here, and just pull. And you pull quite firmly actually. And you'll see that the stitches close up. Now, because this is quite a long square, it takes a little while and it pulls those stitches a little, but they'll relax. And let's do that last pull. And you can see here that it is almost invisible, even, oh, hang on, wrong way, wrong zoom. Even though I've used this very dark grey that clearly isn't invisible across this cream colour. So just pull, and then what I tend to do is just to get these clusters to relax again. That is the side I've just worked on. So you can see that there are a couple of places where you can see this grey, but of course you can easily ask that to close. And on the back side, the grey is very much less visible than you would imagine. So almost invisible. As I said, when you use the same colour as your border, you literally cannot see that join at all in there. Of course, I'm only using this grey. I'll be pulling this out after this video. I'm only using this grey to show you exactly how minimal that visibility is. And when you're actually looking at it, when I zoom out, when you look at it like that, that's really, it looks like an invisible join. So that is the mattress stitch. Remember, only the back loop, and only ever come in from the top of that loop. Have a tail, whether it's cut off or running to your ball, doesn't matter, but give yourself a good working yarn to make sure you can get along whatever, because obviously, you know, generally you'd actually be joining more squares than that in one row. So that is the mattress stitch. Actually, before I go, I just want to show you this. If you have made a mistake, or, you know, it can be really quite difficult sometimes to undo stuff, But watch how easy this is to come out, because I don't actually want these two joined with this grey. So watch how easy it is to come out. I've just got the tail end that leads to my ball, and I'm literally just going to pull it out. And they are no longer joined. I do hope you find this useful. I feel it is the most wonderful join and versatile join in crochet, but certainly it is handy for garments and for joining squares like this. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please take a moment to do so. Hit the bell icon and set your notifications to all so that you'll be notified anytime we upload here on Crochet Tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Have a great day.